I've just upgraded to this iCarsoft CR Max from a CR Pro. I'm only a sort of DIY mechanic, but I like having a diagnostics tool around. They're useful, you know, clear service lights and check for faults. This one interested me because it also has various other service and actuation options. So you can do, on some brands anyway, you can set air suspension, calibrate parking brakes, set the ABS pump off for bleeding the brakes, headlamp adjustments, DPF regens. I mean, the Pro could do some of this stuff, but I mean, even down to on Toyotas, some Japanese models, this will even decode immobilizers. And on some models, you adjust the engine idle speed, etc. Fuel pump teach-ins, door, window and roof resets, transmission adaptions, loads of stuff. So it's a little bit, I say a little bit ahead, it's vastly ahead of the CR Pro. It's Android based rather than a bespoke piece of hardware, and it connects to your Wi-Fi to do upgrades. So the upgrade option is in the device. Rather than sticking an SD card in your PC, you could just hit upgrade and it will download the files. It also comes, unlike the CR Pro, with a really nice box, or comes in a really nice box, with protection for the screen, the manual, the cables, etc. I'm really impressed with that. So I'll just show you the diagnostic side of it. I was sat in a 2015 E-Class. The one thing this does that's really useful as well is it will identify the car for you. So I'm just going to move the camera down slightly because I don't want to show you my VIN number, etc. So I'm going to do, I'll just move out of the way a sec, VIN identity. So this first screen, you can either type it in or you can read it from the car. So I'm going to read it from the car and I'm going to move the camera away as I do that. Okay, so I'll just show you here. It's identified the car down to the model and the engine and everything for me without having to go through any lists. So we just hit OK. So once you've identified the car and you're in diagnostics mode, you can do a quick test which will go through and check all the units for fault codes and tell you how many there are. You can just scan for what control units are available, or you can manually, so in this list you can manually see all the control units. I mean, there's loads. So we've got the usual stuff: fuel pump, engine ECU, gearbox, and then as we go down, I mean, there's power steering modules, radars, cameras, night vision assistance, more radar sensors, battery management system, keyless go, panoramic roof, convertible roof, powered tailgate controllers, windows, headlights, etc. It's like everything's there really. I mean, this is the sort of list you would see if you were using the main dealer tool like Zentry or Star. So we can tell it to do a quick test. It's going to do all the units, see if it picks up any faults. There you go, got one there on my engine. You can see in the background, dashboard's going doolally because it sees the various units getting checked. And then in a minute, the command system will probably flicker as well. Let's wait for this to finish. It takes a while. Oh, this is a lot quicker than on the CR Pro or the CR Plus. You'd have to go into each of these units. Oh look, the headlights have just moved around then because it's picked them up. There goes the command system's gone into diagnostics mode. There's a fair few faults on here. They'll all be, you know, silly faults. Okay. Nearly there. And what I want to show you on here is this additional features. So not all makes and models have the same coverage, but the coverage on this car is particularly good. It's one of the reasons I bought it. So if I scroll down to the doors, for example, and I select the right hand door, so we've got obviously the stuff to read the fault codes if there's any fault codes. No codes on this, and we can clear the fault code so we can view information of the module. We can see like the version of the software and stuff that's on it, and etc. part numbers. We can view live data so we can see like where the windows are, what they're doing. But what's really cool, oh, and we can record it and view a graph, which is pretty cool. But what I really love, one of my main reasons for buying this, is actuation. So this is the sort of stuff you would normally see in a main dealer tool or a high-end snap-on or Autel device. And this is like a £320 device really, so it's cheap. So I can go to my front right power window, and say your window switch was failed or something and you're trying to work out if it's the window switch or the motor. Look at that. Awesome. So there's certain modules on here that will let you do actuations and adaptations as well. So one of the other things will be, if I go back to the ECUs and we go to the shift module. So we've got actuation tests in here, so we can get the gearbox to shift into neutral, etc. I don't want to do that while the engine's running in case it sends me up the road. So that's the shift module on the side of the gearbox, but we should also be able to go into the gearbox as well. That one, TCM. And this one doesn't let us do it, but on my other car, I've got a GLC. In here you can reset the clutch pack on the 9-speed gearbox and do various other things which would normally be main dealer tool only. What else we got? Let's check this error. So we've got engine electronics, read fault code. Oh, the air mass flow sensor has a malfunction, historic, so that's clearly something that blipped once. It's got no lights on anyway, so we'll clear that. Check again. No fault codes found, good. Right. So yeah, oh, backup camera. Communication with electronic ignition lock has a malfunction. Clear. Okay. Gone. So yeah, all in all, I think this is a fantastic bit of kit. I'm really impressed with it. For the amount of money it costs, it's just awesome. And I wanted to do this video as a no-nonsense test because I've seen a few other people talking about the various features but not seen it actually do stuff. So, and the service items for this car, let's see what we got. So for this particular car, so we can do, here we go. So right, under here we can calibrate the various options on the gearbox, clear the saved values, etc. So if your gearbox has been serviced and it's still it feels like it's shifting a bit rough, so you can reset the adaptation values and the gearbox will relearn. Some of these will require you to do drive drive up the road and follow the instructions, same as with the main dealer tools. What else we got? Engine control module, teaching zero. I don't know, I won't touch any of this stuff. You know, setting the idle values, I think. So clear oil service codes, calibrate new throttle pedals, steering angle sensor, coding injectors. There we go. So that must be for coding in injectors. Set the DPF to regen. This is air filter. Reset values for, I don't know what that is, who knows. Fuel pump. Activate fuel pump. Oh yeah, I tried that. When the ignition's off, if you hit that, it will fire the fuel pump up and start, circulating fuel, as in the lift pump in the tank. Yeah, so just loads of random stuff. So yeah, anyway. That is it really, not much else to say. It's a fantastic device, and if you're contemplating buying one and you don't already have a snap-on tool or a high-end Autel, then this is definitely worth getting. Thanks for watching.